Welcome to This Week in Princeton Vikings Sports here in VikeNation.org and ESP Media, powered by Sidearm Sports. I'm Jason Griefer, and as always, we're joined by Princeton Athletic Director Joe Roberts. Joe, good to see you once again. We had a chance to catch up over the weekend and covering the boys soccer team out there at Princeton. Busy week you've had.
Yeah, Jason, it's good to see you via Zoom as well. But yes, it's been a busy week and just keeps on getting busier, as we head into this postseason play for everyone.
Well, let's get right into it. Speaking of, before we hit the record button here on our meeting here, you said you were going to be busy this weekend, specifically this Saturday. You'll be out at the GMC Championships for a cross country. They're in action there, trying to in the league meet there. How has training gone there for the runners? And now that we're into this championship meet here, has the preparation changed in any respect for the coaches? Do they tinker with the strategy, anything like that?
I don't think so. I think that Coach Campbell and Coach Cobb just lay out the plan and just kind of let it run its pace and, take what they did at Ross this past Saturday and kind of transcend into it, because now it's, you lay it all out there for what's in front of you. So I think they may do a little bit of tapering this week in terms of how many miles they put in practice, but outside of that, they need to get familiarity with Voice of America Park, not only for this Saturday, but the following. So it's going to be a great opportunity for our kids to get out there and run against some, extremely tough competition in the GMC. And let's set some good times and some good pace for ourselves and get us ready for the following week.
And there you go. That's what we hope to see. And hopefully that the runners are able to come through in that regard. Let's move on and talk about golf here. And in the postseason over the weekend out at Miami Whitewater here, and teams aren't able to make it through. Bummer there. We talked about Ariana Fluker in the past here on the show. She comes up just 2 shots shy of getting into a playoff for the 4th individual spot to move on. So just shy there. However, Peyton Leach of the boys, he's through. He got on through there, shot an 84. That'll do the job as far as getting through as an individual there. So he's on to the next round. So now that he's on through, but the team season is concluded, how does the dynamic change there now that all the focus turns to trying to get Peyton ready for the next round and try to get him through?
Yeah, well, I'll just go back real quick just again to talk about Ariana and the career she had here at Princeton. What a great individual young lady, and just a great student athlete and representative of the Princeton Vikings, but our entire girls golf team in general. But we're so young. There's only 4 girls, and so we've got to get our numbers back up. But Ariana did a great job that day. The weather was perfect. I caught her on the back 9 and thought that she was really, she was kind of in a groove. And coach even said, 84, she's got a chance. And, it's just unfortunate on that end, but take nothing away from what her and the other young ladies did. But then moving over to the boys' side, kind of out of the nowhere a little bit with Peyton in terms of just, you watch what goes on for the whole season, and it's you kind of hone in on what our seniors were doing, but really excited about what he gets to do and heading up to Beaver Creek. They'll go up either tomorrow or Wednesday, I can't remember which day, and they'll play a practice round and kind of get familiarity with the course. I don't know if he's ever been up there before. The thing about what happens now is the weather is really going to change. And so if we get this rain that's supposed to come in today, and the forecast is that it's supposed to drop, although we'll still be in the lower 70s maybe, but any of those course conditions can kind of affect you. And then, of course, as the leaves start to fall, but Beaver Creek will do a great job of keeping the conditions where they need to be. But, he's just got to go out there and play his game. Now he's going to see even more of a heavier loaded competition, because you're going to bring that other half of the district into play, not only those that were at the Elks that day, but also those that are coming from the Dayton area down. So you've got a very tough Beaver Creek team, Kettering Fairmont team, Centerville team. So there's some competition, Springboro. So he's going to see some different types of golf that's going to go on, and he's just going to go play his game and do what he's got to do. And that's what Coach Bagley doesn't need to change much with that. Just go do what you do.
And our best of luck to him. As you said, maybe a little bit of surprise to get through, but nevertheless, he got through, and that's all that matters at this point. Just survive in advance, and that's exactly what Peyton did there to get through the next round. Let's move on to the pitch. The soccer tournament draw has already been unveiled. You're going to get Moeller in the first round of the playoffs there next Monday night, but regular season's not done. The boys do have 2 road matches this week against Edgewood and Coleraine to finish the regular season, try and build some momentum there. We saw the boys twice this last week on watchhssports.tv earlier in the week against Mason. The result was what it was, although I don't think the score indicated how well Cole Walker played in net. That game could have been a lot worse had there been score-wise, had there been a less talented keeper in there for you. But Mason's also one of the best teams in the state. And then coming back on Saturday after the tough one against Sycamore on Thursday, very competitive match against LaSalle. That was back and forth. That was a physical match. Both teams really getting into it in that regard. You get a late tying goal from about 25 yards out that was in the upper 90. I mean, that's a video game type goal we saw on the second one to tie it up there. But I think the more important thing is, going into last week, some of we were noticing as things were going on, the boys struggling offensively, trying to find the right combinations to get that ball, shots on goal, and get it into the net. We even saw, I think, some hesitation from the boys at times to pull the trigger to try and get some shots in on the opposing keeper, and they finally started doing it. You get 2 goals against Sycamore, you get 2 more against LaSalle, so starting to find it a little bit now, and that's good to see heading into the playoffs. How big is it for them, for the boys themselves, to see the ball finally start going into the net again, especially given that the playoffs are right around the corner?
Well, I think it's huge, Jason. You were right. Mason was Mason. Our kids played their game, but Mason's Mason. I mean, my goodness.
That's a state champion there.
A state champion team. And then Saturday with LaSalle, it was a momentum game for us. I sat in the press box, first time all year to sit in the press box and watch the first half. I watched all the JV game match from up there. I wanted to see what it was like from that upper vantage point. And then second half, I went down on the field and stood in the corner where I normally am. But I go back to, from a defensive standpoint, and again, I'm no soccer savant, but if our defensive guys would stay at the 30 and keep things in a straight line there, and then our offensive guys spread themselves out more a little bit, I think you have a better shot of being able to send that ball further down and get more of those angles to attack, which you saw some really good movement from them, in particular on Saturday. Saturday was great. I thought Cole, of course, I think that's Cole's game. Cole, he stepped out of that box a little more than he normally does, and he was almost up to the 25 a couple times because that's just where he is and diving all over the place. And I was talking to our announcer and scoreboard operator during the match, and I'm like, he's putting himself in a really bad situation because our defense was so far forward. If somebody slips past him, they got wide open shot. Even I could make it, theoretically. But, from an offensive side, yes, I think what our girls did a couple nights before, I think our boys kind of fed off that a little bit because they're kicking the deep ball, and our boys kind of see how that plays in. And you saw it Saturday night as a result of that. We did a much better job of attacking, a much better job of keeping it on the offensive side, trying to spread that field out some more. It's all about spacing in soccer, and I think that really helped them. So going into this week with Coleraine and Edgewood, I think that's going to be really good for our kids. Good competition, good matches for us. To kind of get us ready, and then obviously we'll head over to Moeller Monday night, and we'll just see where it goes from there.
And best of luck to them this going week here. Over on the girls' side, playoff draws announced there. They've got St. Ursula in round 1 of the playoffs. That'll take place next Tuesday night. But a busy week this week for the girls. 3 home matches. 2 of those we're going to broadcast on watchhssports.tv. The first one being tonight against Carroll, and then we'll be back there on Saturday afternoon against Talawanda to wrap up the regular season on watchhssports.tv. Over on the girls' side there, you talked about how the girls have, seemingly found a little bit of offensive rhythm lately. What are they looking to get accomplished in this very busy week ahead of the playoffs themselves in order to try and do some damage in the playoffs?
I think we're going to try to keep the momentum going that we've had in here, trying to get more shots on goal, trying to get more pace, trying to continue to keep that lineup as consistent as possible, try to rack off a little bit of confidence wins, a little bit, grab a couple here or there. And again, we started the season as road warriors.
Yep.
Now we're finishing the season with a strong home, kind of unbalanced in that level, but that is the nature of how our soccer schedule plays out when we're trying to schedule some of these non-conference matches, and trying to get some opponents to either where we fit for their schedule or what have you. But finishing with 3 strong home matches for the girls will be good for them, getting to be in their own confines and just kind of getting them ready for next Tuesday. And once this postseason starts, everybody's on a reset, so anything can happen. And they're going to go against some high-level competition. But I'm really proud of the way the girls continue to battle.
And we'll be certainly looking forward to see how they battle,
Yeah.
not only tonight on the broadcast on WatchHSSports.tv, but again on Saturday. Both games will be broadcast on WatchHSSports.tv. Let's move over and talk about volleyball. Speaking of, we just broadcast their win on Saturday over North College Hill. So good to see them get back in the win column there. Their playoff draw has already been announced. You're going to see a familiar foe in the first round. You're going to get Hamilton in round 1, and so. That match will take place next Wednesday. Able to get through that, your reward is Mount Notre Dame. So draw maybe didn't do you necessarily the biggest favor as far as a potential second-round match there, given how good Mount Notre Dame is on the season. But nevertheless, with your team now, they've started to find themselves a little bit here as of late. They won 2 of their last 3 against NCH, and I think the Seven Hills the other win there. So starting to find things going in the right direction here towards the end of the regular season, and that's what you always would like to see for any team. So with that said, and things starting to move upwards, what has Coach Sparks been able to maybe draw out of her girls these last couple of weeks that has allowed them to not only get into spots where they can win matches, but they are getting over the top now, getting some wins together?
Yeah, and I think a lot of it just has to do with that momentum. I talked to Coach yesterday after the draw, and I told her, I think that's a really good matchup to grab Hamilton again. I think that's a formidable opponent for us. Obviously, being in the league, that's going to get us a really good kind of a pairing, if you will, and looking forward to that. And I guess we can be the next Loyola Chicago and knock off the Mount Notre Dames of the world, and that's okay though.
Yeah.
But we talk about it all season long. We talked about it in soccer. Our schedules aren't built for us just to kind of go find opponents that are going to lay down. And so, we're going to go against the mighty, powerful Mount Notre Dame, or, we've got to get through Hamilton to do so. That's just where it is. That's how tournaments are. And, I think our passing game has gotten steadily improved throughout the season. And I think that's very important for her. Yeah. I think she spends a lot of time focusing on that, trying to find that right setter for her to kind of help move through those passes. And then, of course, we're going to have to spend this week getting everybody back on that floor working on serving, because that's going to be a key for us. We've got to be able to put the ball in a position where they're going to have less chances to return it right away. We want them to have to pass it around 3 times, to get it across the net. And so I think that's going to be very key for our coaching staff and our student athletes this week as they get ready for next week. And I think we're going to see some of that. And looking forward to the girls. They head to Coleraine, and looking forward to them kind of closing out the conference season. But more importantly, just kind of fine-tuning some things before next week's play.
Yeah, I think no doubt. I think to that point, your point about passing, I could see a really nice improvement in the area just from when we broadcast the match against Lakota East a few weeks ago to this past Saturday against North College Hill. That's really improved there. So, again, cleaning up those little things like that can pay dividends going forward.
Yeah. And if you think about that Lakota East game, I'll just go back on that real quick. That's what the key to it is once we serve the ball, we're trying to prevent that front line from making the immediate attack. So we've got to figure out where to put the ball off the serve so that they can, it goes back to the days when 7th grade gym class when we were learning volleyball. You got to bump it, and then you got to set it, and then you got to try to get it. So we got to get some simplicity there with volleyball. But really excited for what the girls are doing.
Yeah, playing much better as of late too, and that's a good sign. Finally, let's talk about football. No issues in their first playoff game in round 2 as they easily dispatch of Oak Hills 55-zip to move on to round 2. You're going to get Elder in round 2, very formidable foe there, but. We're looking at this matchup, and we even talked a little bit about it on this past Saturday before the soccer game. We're thinking this could be a potential shootout on our hands here. And you look at the way things are going leading into this match. You ran for 376 on the ground last week against Oak Hills. Meanwhile, Elder squeaked by Fairfield. I think that caught some people by surprise that game was so close. Elder beats Fairfield 42-39. However, the Panthers give up 307 yards on the ground in that one in barely getting by. So I have to think Coach Daniels is well aware of that and is going to think that if we can pound the rock again the way they did last week against Oak Hills, that they're going to be all right, at least offensively. But in either case, we're expecting a shootout here, are we not?
Oh, absolutely. Like we talked about on Saturday prior to the soccer match, Jason, and Coach was up here with the kids yesterday. They were doing their film sessions and they were getting their lifting in and getting things kind of set for the week, which I go back to. I really value what they've been able to do by taking Saturday completely as a rest day and then bringing the kids in on Sunday afternoons and kind of going through the preparation and getting them ready to some consistency. I think that's really helped our student athletes. I think it's keep our kids mentally fresh, but it is totally allowing them to take a day where they've been able to completely rest this year. So our coaching staff spent Saturday breaking some film down, and then they were in here yesterday just fine tuning it. Whoever has the ball at the end of the game, in my opinion, I mean, because we know what Elder can do offensively.
Yep.
We have the defensive formations and the defensive schemes to stop that, but they are very fundamentally sound football program on the offensive side of the ball. We know that. So likewise, athletically, fundamentally, offensively for us, we know that we can attack that. And, those that run the football can win the game. And I think it's going to come down to that. And I've got a lot of faith in what we're doing on both sides of the ball. I think that Coach Daniels and his staff, they're going to spend some time this week kind of getting through some special teams. Because that's probably going to play a role in this. A missed extra point here or a missed field goal there or an onside kick could be an outcome in Friday night's matchup with Elder. And like I just said, whoever has the ball at the end of the game is probably going to win. And we're going to see an exciting one for Friday night for sure. We're looking forward to hosting Elder here. We're looking forward to having the Elder fan base come in that we all, know and love dearly, to have the West Side come over to Princeton and visit us. But our fans are going to be excited. It's going to be a great night. And those that can't be here can watch FightNation.org and hear you guys do the game.
There you go. And just to look forward for Vikings fans, I know you and the coaches won't allow it, but looking forward, if you get past Elder, you're going to get another GCL team in the following week because you're either going to take on the winner of you're either going to get St. X or Moeller in the next round there. So the GCL run hopefully continues on for the Vikings next week. But nevertheless, a big one there against Elder. Big week in general, a lot of positive things going on, of course, and we'll be covering girls soccer out there at Princeton twice this week, starting tonight and then again on Saturday. Joe, great catching up with you once again. Certainly appreciate your time.
Did you ever imagine we would get to this far this year? No, honestly.
You tell me.
No, I can tell you. I had no reservations about it. I didn't think we'd make it this far, and I'm so excited that we have. I'm so happy for our student athletes and our coaches because of the amount of work that they put in and day out, and the amount of time that they give for our programs and our kids. This is the payout, and I'm so excited for that.
And this has been one of the benefits of it, to be able to sit here and talk about it every single week. That is Joe Roberts, athletic director of Princeton High School, joining us for this week in Princeton Viking Sports here on ESP Media, powered by Sidearm Sports.